What's good, family? Y'all know what it is, man. This is another episode of HBCU Fanatics. We in the building, man. I hope y'all had a blessed Thursday evening or night. Some of y'all probably just, if you're in the night shift, you're getting ready to go to work. If you're just getting off of work, just relax and hope you enjoy this good HBCU talk, man. Coach 67 Sports TV, Mr. Southern himself. What's going on, man?
I am blessed and highly favored. I hope everyone is doing well this evening. Of course, the only little glitch we got, I don't know if you know this, bro. We got like a double link, double screen. I don't know what's going on. I
Oh,
just made it.
no, that's one of the selections, man. That StreamYard do. That's what they. I just selected it, so it's all good.
Yeah, because we got two links. I'm seeing that now. Not only that, we got a double screen, but other than that, all is well. And of course, the fanatics are in the building. You dig?
Yes, sir, man. We gonna talk about that brawl, but we gonna get to it, and we gonna you. I'm gonna let you cook. I'm gonna cook a little bit. Well, we gonna cook on one particular famous football player that got a podcast that either he didn't do his homework before he talked about HBCUs fighting, or and it's not just him.
Yeah,
It's
I
not
mean,
just him.
you know how we get these Uncle Toms that get on these major platforms and they figure they have to conform and appeal to them other folks, but it is what it is.
What's good, Mr. Adrian Crook, Mr. Jackson State hater himself, Southern faithful. He said, "What's good? F these subsiding asses." What's good, brother?
Salute to Agent Cook, you dig?
Salute, brother. Yeah, man. It's man. Can you believe the CIAA has wrapped up, man?
Yeah, yeah.
We got we gonna pick who we think. We got our two teams that gonna be set this Saturday to play for the CIAA championship, and it's gonna be a good one, man. I cannot wait. But let's go ahead and do the CIAA first, since their season is has basically wrapped up.
All right, let's get
Um,
it.
all right. So last week, or last weekend, I should say, Bluefield State beat. No, excuse me. Elizabeth City State blew out Bluefield State 70-30. Damn, Bluefield State, man, that's yeah, they need to do something. Fayetteville State beat Winston-Salem State 31-21.
All right.
They didn't make it because they lost to the in-state rival, Johnson C. Smith. Unfortunately, they will not make it to the CIAA championship. But
Oh, okay.
they had a um, average season, but a lot of upside, man. A lot of upside with the freshman wide receiver Unique Kelly, man. Um, and just they got a lot of young talent to look
All right.
forward to. Um, okay, and then man, Shaw lost to Division III school Emory and Henry University, 55-7, bro.
Oh my goodness, bro.
I think they Division III. Let me check. That's I ain't never heard of them, so I'm assuming that they Division III. It's their Division II.
All right.
They transitioned from Division III to Division II um last year, so they now Division II as of
Okay.
2024. Okay, so I was close, but uh we got newcomer Aubrey Hayden. Tip says hello. What's going on? Nice to have you.
Man, salute to the family, you dig?
All right, and then that's a shame, man. Bowie, excuse me,
Bowie State.
Bowie
Bowie
State. I
State.
keep on
Yep.
saying Bowie. The Bowie State Bulldogs beat Lincoln, which we all knew. Um,
I was
they
hoping
get
Lincoln could get at least one of them.
nah, man, no. Uh, Bowie ended up winning 28-17. Livingstone lost. They played Johnson C. Smith well, but they played them tough. But Johnson C. Smith still won 26-21. And Virginia Union, very defensive game, defense dominated game. But Virginia Union ended up beating their in-state rivals, Virginia State, 14-3. What did
Uh-huh.
I tell you about these Virginia schools, bro? In the
Oh yeah.
CIAA.
Oh no, I'm not gonna lie, bro. You've been ranting and raving about them, and you're absolutely right.
I told you that either Virginia State or Virginia Union was going to make it to the CIAA championship.
Hey, you already know. You already knew what it was gonna be.
I think this may be a bot or a troll. What's up, y'all? That Colton SZG ZG6G. Yeah, block that person, please. Ban user. Haha, you gone. But anyway, yeah, man. So their season is over. Like I was saying, CIAA is over. So yeah, that was a Troy Adrian Crook. That's why I blocked the shit out of him. Um, CIAA championship is set. So we got Virginia Union, number 1 seed, playing number 2 seed Johnson C. Smith. November 15th, 3 p.m. Central Standard Time. We'll broadcast. No, excuse me, 2 p.m. Central Standard Time, 3 p.m. on the East Coast. Uh, HBCU Go will host the game. Coach, who you got?
Uh, I'm going with Virginia Union.
You know I'm be a homer. I'm going Johnson C. Smith, man.
What?
Yeah, I'm
Really?
going. Yeah, you know how I brag about the Virginia teams. They always are, um, you know, near basically the top or near the top in CIAA. One of the stronger teams in CIAA.
Mm-hmm.
But
You gonna go against the grain?
I'm gonna go against the grain. I'm picking Johnson C. Smith.
I mean, don't get me wrong. You know, you and I like to pick against each other for whatever reason at times. But what's your rationale? What's your reason? What's your ideology for this pick?
Well, Johnson C. Smith has been the doormat of the CIAA. Not these past couple of years. These past couple of years, they've been playing some damn good football. But take out the past 3 or 4 years, they've been the doormat. They've been like the blue fields of the conference. Uh, it's I think it's time. They've been like in the past they've been like again the Lincolns, but Johnson C. Smith has a good coach, good good players, man. Um, I think it's time. I'm just speaking. Of course I'm not ignorant to the fact that Virginia Union is a talented ball club, but I just believe these boys are motivated. They finally made it to the CIAA championship. Salute to Coach Maurice Flowers. Um, they even got a YouTube channel, like a YouTube a channel that's been tracking their season. Um, they locked in, man. They locked in. I got Johnson C. Smith.
All right, all right. Hey, we're gonna see who's gonna be right or who's gonna be wrong at the end of the day.
Right or wrong, we gonna be back here Thursday. If I'm wrong, I'll eat that crow pie.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
ain't
yeah,
I ain't
yeah.
worried about it. I'm not worried about it. But congratulations to both Virginia Union and Johnson C. Smith.
Already.
Let's attack the SIAC. Thanks to Scotty. Salute to Scotty from Off Script. Um,
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. I'm definitely gonna touch on at the end of the show. Well, I'm not gonna say at the very end. At the very end, we're gonna make our SWAC game of the week prediction, and then our game of the week prediction. But before that, we're gonna talk about the Bethune-Cookman Grambling situation. Then in addition to that, we're gonna talk about this this former NFL MVP that's Uncle Tom, in my personal opinion, at this point.
don't
But
don't say no. Don't say Uncle Tom. Say Sam. Say what it is, Sambo.
no,
Uncle
no, no, no.
Tom.
Well, actually, I was gonna say, Buck Dancing Bootlick, but it is what it is.
Yeah, yeah. Because if the story, the real story of Uncle Tom.
Yeah, yeah. Uncle Tom's Cabin.
Yeah, he was the hero. You know.
Yeah. All right. Well, all right. Well, let's call him a Buck Dancing Bootlick.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But let's go to the SIAC conference. So last week, Edward Waters got actually blown out by Allen, 53-30.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Albany State blew out Fort Valley State, 48-3. Tuskegee almost lost to Miles, but Tuskegee came out with the win, 24-23. Kentucky State blew out Poor Lane Dragons, 55-0. Uh, Benedict plays Savannah State. It's probably one of the better games of the week. Um, of that week. Uh, Benedict played Savannah State to two overtimes, and Benedict ended up winning 16-13. And then another good game. Not a lot of defense, but Clark Atlanta came out with the win over Morehouse, beating them 48-45.
All right. All right.
All right, so and I'm gonna go ahead and go with next week's scheduled games, and then we'll go to standings. So Benedict is playing Albany State. Who you got? I got Albany.
I got Albany also.
Shorter University out of Georgia, a Division II school, is playing Kentucky State.
I got Kentucky State because
I got
in my mind they really beat Grambling, but that's another story for another day.
yeah, that's another story. Uh, Eskeren College, another Division II school, is playing Allen. I got Allen.
I got Allen too.
All right, and then let's go to the standings, man. So Albany State is 8-0. So of course they're going to be in this SIAC championship. They're 9-1 overall, and they 8-0 in the conference. Benedict is 7-1, and they're 9-1 overall. Kentucky State is 7-1, and they're 8-2 overall. Allen is 5-3 in the conference, but they're 5-5 overall. And then, can be honest with you, it's not even worse going down the line with the other schools because those. So most likely it's going to be Albany State and Benedict in the SIAC championship. Of course, Lane ain't gonna make it. Lane, they 0-10. They about to be 0-11. Clark Atlanta, they had a rough season. Miles, Central State, Morehouse, Tuskegee, Savannah State, Fort Valley, Edward Waters, all had mediocre season. So Congratulations to Kentucky State, Allen. Excuse me. I'm sorry. Congratulations to Kentucky State, Benedict, and Albany. All of them had damn good seasons in the conference, but I think it's going to be Albany State and Benedict. Unless Benedict loses the game, which I don't think is going to happen. I don't think Benedict is going to lose to. No, actually, Benedict. So this is going to tell who's going to win. If Benedict, in my opinion, if Benedict, I don't think they're going to beat Albany State, Coach. So it might be Albany State and Kentucky State. I'm not sure. I got to do the how they're going to do it.
See if they have any potential tiebreakers. You mean?
Yeah, because technically, in my opinion, the SIAC championship is going to be played this weekend.
Just like we talked about the de facto championship between Alabama State and Jackson State for Jackson State's homecoming.
Yeah. Yeah, same thing's going to happen this weekend. So after that's over and done, after the smoke is clear, I'm just going to be interested in who's going to be playing in the
Championship
SIAC.
game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, man. Let's go ahead and get the MEAC out the way, man. So last week, we on Friday, this past Friday, we had Delaware State and Morgan State. Delaware State almost had a scare, but they ended up beating off Morgan State 14-12. Howard played South Carolina State tough, and for the first quarter. Then after that, the wheels fell off. South Carolina State blew out Howard 42-12, and North Carolina Central had to beat off Coach Vick's struggling Norfolk
State. Yep.
But they end up winning 31-28. North Carolina Central. All right, let's see what we got next.
Now remember, we're gonna save that one game for last. Now.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
I got you. So this weekend, tomorrow we got another good one in the MEAC. We got South Carolina State versus North Carolina Central, and then Saturday.
Hold it. That's the game. That's the game we're gonna predict last.
South Carolina State and North Carolina Central.
Yeah, that's the game of the week for HBCU football. We're gonna pick that one last.
All right. So we got Norfolk State and Morgan State.
I'm going Morgan State.
I'm gonna go Norfolk.
Yeah, we'll see.
I understand. I hopefully they edge it out. I got then you got Delaware State versus Howard. I got
Delaware State. Yep, Delaware State.
And then we got North Carolina Central versus South Carolina Central. You
mean South Carolina State against North Carolina Central?
What'd I say? Central, my bad. South Carolina State versus North Carolina.
Oh, when I say we're gonna pick it last, I'm talking about at the end of the show, bro.
Oh, okay. No, you good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because that's the game of the week right there. You know what I'm saying? The game of the week, all HBCU football.
Yeah, you're right. So what we're gonna do is just move on to the SWAC.
Yep.
So we had Alabama State beat up on Texas Southern 42-24. Florida A&M had to beat Arkansas Pine Bluff off with a stick, but they end up winning 31-28.
In a close game,
In a close game. Prairie View A&M beat up Alabama A&M 48-5. Damn. Jackson State beat up on poor Mississippi Valley 42-3,
Yep.
and Alcorn beat up on your Southern Jaguars 35-17.
Yeah, and I'm gonna talk with Southern real quick. Southern has fallen to 1-9, and I'm not gonna lie. I think the issue I have with Southern is, I talked about this on my channel. How basically one of the parents for one of the players was like, "Hey, like these players going out, they trying hard, this, that, and the third. For y'all to be, saying things about individual players and not the administration or the coaching staff or the team collectively as a whole. Like it's not fair with the woo." And I'm not gonna lie, the parent was right. And I think it was more evident Saturday where it kind of seemed like, from my perspective as a coach, the players were like really going all out there and really playing hard and trying to win. Southern jumped out on them 7-0, and then Southern got an interception. But I'm not gonna lie, from a play calling standpoint and some of the decisions that even Fred McNair made, I'm talking about this. Fred McNair is a coach that played in the SWAC for Alcorn State. He won a couple SWAC championships at Alcorn State because at that time, you know, Dawson Noldums and Southern couldn't get over the hump of beating Alcorn State. That was the only team you really couldn't beat in the SWAC at that time. And he won championships in those 2 seasons or whatever, like
Mm-hmm.
before COVID hit. And, to see that guy where he was then, and I mean, don't get me wrong, technically, this is not his team in terms of, he didn't bring these players in, whatever the case may be. It just kind of feel like, from a coaching perspective, that he kind of milled it in and kind of phoned home, because from a play calling standpoint, offensively, I raved about how that first week when he took over from Mark Frederick, how much better offense looked under him when they played against FAMU. Looking at it now, maybe FAMU defense was just that bad, but it just kind of feels like they kind of phoned it in. And Scotty talked about it on his show. Salute to Scotty with off script. You know, one thing I always did, like when I used to play Madden against, like, even to this day, like against my nephew or against my cousins or whatever, like I was send a receiver in motion to know whether the defense is playing man or zone. The only person that kind of tricked me with that once was Rude Dog. Shout out to Rude Dog. We was playing Madden, and I had an empty set. I was in the gun. I had trips to the left, and I had twins to the right. So the receiver that was in the slot, I sent him in motion from left to right, and then I sent him back from right to left. So everybody else, when I do that, I know, hey, if nobody runs with the receiver, where they playing zone. If somebody runs with the receiver, they playing man. So Rude Dog was the only one that he used to like to blitz a lot. I was always more of a 4-3, 4-2-5 kind of guy. He was always more of a 3-4 kind of guy. No matter what type of offense you ran, he always wanted to run a 3-4 because he liked blitzing from all these different angles. So I sent the guy in motion, and I snapped the ball, drop back the pass, and next thing I know, his cornerback on top of my quarterback in the backfield. Well, what he did was he made it look like it was man, but really it was a zone blitz. So I knew after that, all right, hey, I'm gonna do the same thing. And if he mimicked what I did before, then I know really it's not man, it's a zone blitz. But
Right.
outside of that single incident, for the most part, I always knew when playing man, hey, they playing man or they playing zone. And looking at Southern offense, I'm not gonna lie, Ashton Straw, that he does not know, he can't read coverage. Like, that's the point blank bottom line of the situation. He really can't read coverage. He struggles to move through his progression. He don't know where to go with the ball in many instances. And I'm not gonna lie, just watching him, it seemed like that first week, and I said this, like, the first game against Fresno State, I'm like, man, this dude, he looked so much better of a passer than Cameron McCoy. But of course, Cameron McCoy clearly is a much better athlete. But the issue is, Cameron McCoy really can't pass, but Ashton Strada, he's a better passer, but he really can't make it all the way through his progression. Many instances, he don't know where to go with the ball, and he don't know whether they're playing man, whether they're playing zone. In addition to that, like teams in spread now, we used to call it G blocking, where you would have the tight end and the tackle like blocked down in the guard pool. We used to call it G blocking. Nowadays they call it pin and pull, but it's the same concept.
Right.
So when Southern running the ball, like first of all, I'm not even gonna lie, Trey Holly is the best Southern University running back I've seen in my lifetime, and he didn't get enough touches. I don't know, maybe they went back to the snap count restriction. They gave Amari and Asbury more touches, but there were points in the game where Trey Holly should have been in the game. Even if you only limit his touches, certain points of the game, he should have been in the game, and he wasn't. And then in addition to that, my issue is uh, we there's two different type of plays you could run in terms of handing off, like a straight dive where you give him the ball and he run straight ahead, and then they got the pin and pull concept where you run like a zone type of play. There were instances where they should have ran the straight dive and they ran zone, and there were instances where they should have ran zone and they ran the straight dive. And it's like, man, from a play calling standpoint, I'm not gonna lie, like Southern spread offense, it looked much better against FAMU, but at this point, it looks extremely vanilla. And I'm not gonna lie, just from my perspective, from the outside looking in, from a coaching standpoint, it just kind of feel like Fred McNair and the entire coaching staff, they're just milled in, they just phoned in, and they just kind of going through the motions, and they're just trying to collect these last few checks up until the Bayou Classic, and that was it. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
gonna lie. I mean, it really feel like that. Ordinarily, I don't see that about coaches from a coaching perspective, but I honestly legitimately feel that he really kind of milled it in. And then, of course, Southern University, they narrowed their coaching search, from what I'm understanding, down to 10 coaches. Then they're going to narrow it down from 10 to like 5. And then, like the Monday after the Bayou Classic, they're going to name the next head coach and make it official. But, of course, uh, I talked about it on my channel how, like, so many educated individuals, highly educated individuals that graduated from Southern and other HBCUs, they really starting to aggravate me because every time we get to talking about who should be the next head football coach at Southern, and, we talk about some of these teams, whether we talking about Dr. Alvin Parker and Quinn Gray, even Joe Taylor, or even a celebrity coach like a Marshall Falk. There's so many different directions that I think Southern University could go in where they could get a guy that's going to do well, and Southern University is going to thrive as a team and get back to dominance where they once was in HBCU football. But so many people like insist that Southern needs a white head coach, and it's
No, they don't.
insane to me. It's insane to me. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that Southern University shouldn't have any white coaches on their staff at all,
No,
because
that's not what we're saying. Yeah.
Mark Orlando was the offensive coordinator. Southern had under P. Richardson, they had a white offensive coordinator and an Asian defensive coordinator. But so we're not saying that. We're saying that for people to say Southern needs a white head coach to get them back to where they used to be. And like, hey, I don't care whether, the head coach is black, white, orange, purple, green, as long as we win. Well, we could win without needing a white head coach. And of course, the primary guy they're talking about is Matt Leone, former Southern University assistant coach, current North Carolina Central offensive coordinator. And like I said, it's no knock against him. I wouldn't mind him being the offensive coordinator at Southern because Mark Orlando was a white offensive coordinator at Southern. And I'm not gonna lie, I think Matt Leone, no disrespect to Mark Orlando, I think he's a far better offensive coordinator than Mark Orlando was. Matt Leone is now. But I don't think we need a white head coach to get back to where we used to be. And it's, to me, I think it just kind of speaks to the
You
ideology that a lot of black people have when it comes to, white supremacy and having inferiority complex when it comes to white people. To me, I think you could hire a Marshall Falk or Joe Taylor or Dr. Alvin Parker or Quinn Gray, Teddy Bridgewater. You could hire any of these type of guys, and Southern could get back to where they used to be without needing is a strong word to me, without needing to hire a white head coach. It's insane to me that people have this mindset and this ideology.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. I don't think because on the shoes of the foot, a lot of these big time PWI schools, um, they're not so quick to hire the brother. I'm not saying there isn't black coaches, but you see what happens when they do get the brother. Either the school is mediocre and they expect the brother to hurry up and fix the ball club right away. Um, and then if it doesn't happen, then they're quick to fire them. But
And I'm glad you brought that up. Let me touch on that real quick because I talked about
you
this in
good?
the video too. You know, all the success that that Eddie Robinson had at Grambling, that Pete Richardson had at Southern, LSU never considered either one of them. And the thing with Pete Richardson, he said he wasn't upset that LSU didn't hire him as the head coach. He said he was upset that they never considered him. He never even got a phone call. And that was the issue with him. And even with that being said, like at LSU, don't get me wrong, you got people at LSU that's saying, hey, you know, Frank Wilson is the interim head coach. Yeah, they cool with him being the interim head coach, but they would make a black guy, in my personal opinion, a head coach. Look at Calvin Shepard, right? Calvin Shepard is the defensive coordinator for the Detroit Lions, right? And he went to LSU. Do you and some people saying, oh yeah, he's a candidate to be LSU's head coach. Nah, I mean I think they'll hire the head coach from Tulane to be the head coach, or they'll hire maybe like a Joe Brady who used to be the offensive coordinator who's currently with the Bills now. I think they'll hire Lane Kiffin. In my personal opinion, I don't think Lane Kiffin has done anything in terms of uh in terms of winning national championships. Not as a head coach. I mean, even in the NFL, you know what I'm saying? What has he done in the NFL? So I think they'll hire Tulane head coach John Summerall or Lane Kiffin or Joe Brady or that type of guy. But Calvin Shepard, I don't think they really would consider him. You know what I'm saying? And even though he went to LSU, don't you think LSU should consider a guy like that? Some people saying
Definitely.
hey, they're gonna hire Marcus Freeman, the head coach of Notre Dame, which is to me is a bold-faced lie because they just hired Brian Kelly, who was the Notre Dame head coach, and we saw how that worked out. So I mean, like I said, race matters because if race didn't matter, then guess what? Leslie Frazier and Eric Bieniemy already would have been head coaches in the NFL. If race didn't matter, then Antonio Pierce, Brian Flores,
Jared
uh,
Mayo.
Jared Mayo, they still would be head coaches in the NFL. So for people to get in my comment section to say, hey, it's not about black or white, it's not about race. Man, we live in a world where race does matter. So how come it shouldn't matter to us, but it matters to them? That's insane to me. I don't
And
like
yeah,
that
I saw those
ideology. I don't
comments,
like that
and,
train of
and and
thinking.
and some of them were like, just pick the right person, and not about color. Just pick
Why the
the
white
right
person?
coach.
Yeah, but that was my issue. Why does the right person have to be white? Why does the right person need to be white? That's my issue. You know what I'm saying?
Well, their perspective is if the right person is white, it is what it is. But my thing is, then we talked about it offline. If you dig into a lot of these Division II schools um and even maybe Division III, there's a lot of black coaches that's on these coaching staffs that are busting their hump and improving these programs that they would love to be the head coach of Southern. Just
And,
saying.
and, like, and like I say, you don't think Joe Taylor could come to Southern and turn things around? You don't think Felton Huggins or Quinn Gray or Dr. Alvin Parker or even Teddy Bridgewater or maybe a Marshall Falk? You don't think these guys could come to Southern and turn the program around? Come on, man. I mean, Southern is a HBCU blue blood. We're not talking about recent history.
And
We
you know
just
how
talking
we not
historically.
lying? Look at Tremaine Jackson. Just
And that's
came
what I'm
from
saying.
Valdosta. Look on that Prairie View A&M. So you can miss me with that. Go ahead,
Yeah,
coach.
that's nonsense. And then the thing about it is, I saw in one comment section was saying that Tremaine Jackson is the candidate for the LSU head coach job. Man, that's a lie. I mean, no disrespect to Tremaine Jackson. Dude, look what Eddie Robinson and Pete Richardson did in the SWAC. LSU never considered neither one of them.
No.
Don't get me wrong. I think Tremaine Jackson definitely is a candidate for the UAB job. But UAB and LSU is two different levels. So he might be a candidate for the UAB job. He is definitely not a candidate for the LSU job. Anybody that's saying that is, to me, a bold-faced lie. Until LSU proved me wrong, I don't believe it. And If race matters over there, then why shouldn't it matter at Southern? That's miss me with that. Hey, if the white coach is the right guy, well, guess what? Why does a white coach have to be the right guy?
Look what they did to Aaron Glenn. Um, Aaron Glenn is a damn good defensive coordinator. He's trying to turn the suck ass program around. I mean program,
Team,
NFL
NFL
ball
team.
club team. Thank you. Which New York Jets was already busted before he got there. Now he's probably gonna get blamed on how bad they are now.
He is
But
getting blamed.
exactly, but they're not gonna give that brother time.
But no, and this is the thing about it. This is another thing. I'm glad you brought him up. This is another thing that pissed me off, right? He was a assistant coach for the Saints, right? Defensive backs coach, right? And I'm not gonna lie, he was a dog coach. So, the Saints were like, hey, Aaron Glenn is like the top candidate. And I'm thinking to myself, bro, LSU and the Saints, they are not gonna have a black head coach, you know, be the head coach of their football team. You cannot make me believe it. So this what the Saints did. This how sucker they were in terms of the way they handled the situation, right? So we knew just like LSU probably really wants Joe Brady, the Saints really wanted Joe Brady too. So this what they did. They said Aaron Glenn was the top candidate. So this what they did. It's time for their coaching search to start. What they did was they dragged their feet and they let the Jets hire Aaron Glenn first. They dragged their feet and they let him hire him. Then they say, all right, well, hey, we want Aaron Glenn. But they knew it was too late because they knew he already was taking the Jets job. All right, cool. So then they tried to pivot and go to Joe Brady, who LSU probably really wants as their head coach too. They tried to hire Joe Brady. You know what Joe Brady told him? He's not interested in the job. He knew that the Saints was a bad team. And he know,
Hmm.
man, hey, bro, that's a sucker ass position to be in. I'm not going to be the head coach there. Then they tried to get a few other guys. Nobody wanted the job. So that's how they ended up hiring Kellen Moore. Because guess what? Nobody else wanted to be the head coach of y'all sorry ass team with the sorry ass general manager that Mickey Loomis is. So at the end of the day, even the Saints was on some sucker shit as far as I'm concerned. You know what I'm saying?
I'm just trying to tell you. Hey, if race doesn't matter, then Shador Sanders won't be in the position he is now.
Without question. And people could really see that he's clearly the better quarterback. Dylan Gabriel is trash as far as I'm concerned. I don't care nobody say. So at the end of the day, bro, like y'all can miss me with this race don't matter BS. No, hey, it don't matter to black
The
people,
ones who
but to
don't
white
who
people it
don't care
matters.
about it or want you to shut up talking about it.
No, but I mean, if you go look at the comment section of my last video, I'm telling you, could see they holler, but hey, race don't matter. I just want the best man for the job. Well, okay, why the best man for the job got to be a white man? That's what I want to know. Like,
Or here's this one. There's a lot of black coaches that are coaching now. What you're belly aching about this time?
yeah, and I mean, bro, it's all in my comment section. I'm telling myself,
Yeah,
man, you cannot change the mindset of these black. No matter how well I laid out that argument in that video, no matter what I said, it went in one end out the other.
because
It's the
we
mindset. It's the ideology.
yeah, yeah. I I think Desmond Allen said it best in your comment section, man. He really did. And salute to brother Brent Fox. He said salute to my brothers in chat. And Mrs. Shelton talking about some bang bang not again. Yeah, y'all. Didn't they lose last week?
Oh,
Remember you said
last time I saw it, the Rams was beating them, but I didn't check out the final score. I ain't gonna even lie to you.
but salute to both of y'all brothers, man.
Man, salute to the family.
LDBC family in the building, man. Appreciate y'all. But yeah, man,
Disgusting.
it's disgusting. Brother, black people think they know how to play chess, but they ain't looking at the board, man. They think it's a fair game.
I mean, and I'm not gonna lie, salute to our brother 7 8 Sports TV. He said this all the time. He said, I don't understand why black people got this need to be fair. They're not playing fair. You trying to play fair. It's insane to me, bro. The
Yeah,
game is rigged. They're not playing fair, but you have this need to be fair. Man, something wrong with y'all, bro.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But it's crazy. But let's go back to the SWAC, man.
Yeah, finish out the SWAC scores.
So, all right. So let's go to next week or this coming up weekend, I should say. My apologies. So
In fact, hold before you get into that, one thing I will point out too.
go ahead.
You got SWAC teams that have backup quarterbacks that's doing their thing. You know, Alabama State, St. Andrew Body went down with the concussion. Krishan Smoot, he playing well. Grambling has backup quarterback Hayden Benoit, and Jackson State
Oh,
got Jerry
what I
Lockhart.
tell you about Jared Lockhart? I
Yeah,
told
yeah,
you you're
yeah,
gonna
yeah,
be
yeah,
all
yeah.
right.
Yeah, you were right. And Jackson State got Jerry Lockhart. All of those teams, even with backup quarterbacks, they're doing good. Even if you look at somebody like Southern, technically that's their third string quarterback. You know what I'm saying? But
Hmm.
I mean, it is what it is. Clearly those teams, when you have a better roster from top to bottom, and you have a good offensive line, and I ain't gonna lie, Alabama State defense ain't really all that great because they struggled to pull that game out. But when you have overall better situation, it's easier for a backup quarterback that's even a true freshman. Because Benoit and Lockhart, they true freshmen. You know what I'm saying? Those guys in better situations. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah. Lockhart definitely in the better situation. Um, but we gonna see. Speaking of that, man, is the T set is he out for the year?
Uh, I haven't gotten any word on it. The last comment I saw, it just kind of just said, "Hey, just keep him lifted in prayer." So that's
Yeah, I
kind
hope
of
that
vague.
brother doing all right, man. The Grambling
Yeah,
quarterback Xavier and T set, aka Zay T set.
Zay T set from Scotlandville High School. And for people that don't know, Scotlandville High School is the next closest to Southern University outside of Southern Lab. Of course, Southern Lab is literally on Southern University's campus, but right around the corner is Scotlandville High, not even 5 minutes away. It's not too far from my home in Baker, but it's another story.
Yeah, yes, sir, man. But going into the scores, man, for this coming up weekend, we got Arkansas Pine Bluff versus Prairie View A&M. We both picking Prairie View
Prairie
A&M. Come
View,
on.
yep. Prairie View
Uh,
is the SWAC West champs in my opinion. It's kind of pretty much a done deal at this point.
hmm And then we got Jackson State versus Bethune-Cookman.
Of course, this is the SWAC game of the week in my opinion. I'm definitely going with Jackson State. I
Me too.
think since ain't no telling when Andrew Body gonna be back in terms of clearing concussion protocol. I mean, the SWAC season is just about over. Uh, at one point, I thought without Jacoby and Morgan, I didn't think Jackson State was gonna be to get it done. But uh, Andrew Body not even there for Alabama State. I think Jackson State pretty much gonna ride it out at this point. I'm
Yeah,
going with Jackson State.
yeah, I got it. I agree with you. Then we got Grambling versus Alcorn.
Uh, we're gonna talk about it later on in the show. Grambling is gonna have multiple players not there due to suspension, $40,000 fine. Uh, Honestly, I'm gonna pick Alcorn State with the upset because if you got 18 players missing, man, I'm sure at some point, hey, it's gonna affect you some kind of way. So
Yeah,
I'm
you got to
I'm
play
going,
that freshman that probably ain't ready. That's talented, obviously, but not you know not the
yeah. So
starters that you lost.
yeah, so I'm going with Alcorn State with the upset on this one.
Uh, I'm
Who you
still
got?
go. I'm gonna go Grambling. I'm be the contrarian. I'm gonna
And I
go
mean, don't get me
Grambling.
wrong. Depending on who's out, the game would go either way. I'm just kind of basing it. If it wouldn't be for the suspensions, I would go with Grambling, but I'm going with Alcorn State for the upset.
Okay,
Salute up, salute to
I
our
can
brother
definitely
Jay
understand.
Good.
Salute to brother Jay Goody. Jay Good, man. What's good, man? Always supporting us, brother. Appreciate y'all. LDBC brother in the building. And of course, my other brother, Blackwater 8417. He said, salute, brother. Good, man. What's
Man,
good, man?
salute to Blackwater Bayou, and salute to your fam from H Town. Met him at Pops. You know, I've been going to SU games for over 40 years. His pop's been going to SU games for over 60 years. So
Man.
salute to Pop, salute to him. Met him at the first game, and he was one of the people off the rip that said, "Hey, Terrence Gray is gonna be a bad coach." You know, he said it. He said it off the rip. You know what I'm saying?
Well, so salute to Pops and Blackwater, man.
H
Salute to
Town
y'all, man.
representing.
H Town, salute. Yeah, man. And Florida A&M versus Alabama A&M.
Oh man, this is gonna be a tough one. I'm going with FAMU on that one.
I'm going with FAMU too. I know if Dave listened to this from Down South Football Podcast, man, he probably gonna be mad at me, but I'm sorry, man. I don't trust the Alabama A&M, man. I'm pick FAMU. Uh, and then we got poor Mississippi Valley. They playing Alabama State.
Yeah, Alabama State gonna beat the brakes off him. The same score we saw for Jackson State. I see the same score. I'm gonna go like 42-3. You know what I'm saying?
You think Mississippi Valley got one of them upsets in them like they do every year?
Well, I think they done got their one win this year. I think that's it for them.
Okay, all right. And then we got Texas Southern versus Southern.
Senior afternoon, AW Mumford Stadium, P. Richardson Field. Unfortunately, you know, Vince Sullivan, Robert Flock came live here. We came live here. I went live on my channel, talked about how basically he said goodbye to college football. To me, that's kind of code for, hey, I'm saying bye to Southern University because I'm hurt and I'm a senior, and that's gonna be it for me. I'm gonna try to make it to the NFL or the CFL or whatever professional league I can get to. I wish him well, but I hate to say it. Southern University seniors would not win a single home game this season. I'm going with Texas Southern.
Damn, man. Yeah, y'all broke me last week. Well, the week before last. Yeah, I'm taking Texas Southern.
You finally came over to the dark side, huh?
Yeah, yeah, man. That was crazy. Um, but let's go ahead and get. Let's go ahead and talk about the conferences standings right now.
Uh-huh.
So in the East, we got Alabama State. They're 5-1. Well, both Alabama State and Jackson State are both tied. They're
Yeah,
five
well,
and one in
well,
the conference, and
Alabama State lost to Jackson State for Jackson State's homecoming. That was kind of like the factual SWAC championship game to me. But Alabama State still needs Jackson State
to
to
lose.
lose because Jackson State beat them head to head. I don't see Jackson State losing the rest
Mm,
of the way, especially since you know they really don't have no real, you know, no tough games coming up or whatever. And then in addition to that, um, Alabama State don't even have Andrew Body healthy. You know, even though I feel like T-Shawn Smoot, you know, I think he did good last week. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see can he keep that up week in and week out. So, you know, it is what it is.
it's definitely gonna be interesting. Uh, but this is SWAC. A lot of strange things have happened in the past.
Oh,
We'll see.
I've seen way stranger things happen. So, yeah, I wouldn't put it past nobody. You know what I'm saying?
Then of course we got the following. We got Bethune-Cookman, Florida A&M, Alabama A&M, and Mississippi Valley at the bottom. But at this point, in the East, it's all about you know Jackson State
Well,
finishing
Jackson State and
strong.
Alabama State. Yeah, Jackson State and Alabama State. So, but
No,
as long
no,
as
no. I know that. I'm just saying, like as far as if Jackson State can't gotta be perfect
yeah, the
from here
rest of the
on
way.
out. Yes,
Well, I ain't gonna
sir.
say perfect. They just got to finish out strong the rest of the way. You know.
Yeah, pretty
Yeah.
much. Yes, sir.
Uh-huh.
Um, then on the West we have uh Grambling is 4-2, but on the top it's Fairview A&M. They're 5-1. Both of them are 7-3 overall, but Fairview A&M is at the top of the West.
Uh-huh.
Then you have Texas Southern, Alcorn, Arkansas Pine Bluff, and Southern at Southern is at the bottom.
I can't believe Southern is the new UAPB, bro. So that's why I say this next coaching hire, Southern definitely got to get that right. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they definitely, man. You gotta get somebody who knows the culture and know what they're doing. Um,
Well, well, I think you got one. You gotta be from Louisiana. You gotta know how to recruit. You gotta know how to be a program builder, and you
I
gotta
gave you
understand.
my you mentioned it in the video about when you was addressing about the white coach. I gave you mine. You mentioned him. My
You
candidate
talking
for
about
y'all.
Kevin
If y'all,
Falk?
if you can get if you can get Kevin Falk, Louisiana boy.
Yeah. Well, I'm not gonna lie. If I had to kind of pick, I mean, if I got to go with a former NFL player, I'm gonna go with Marshall Falk over him because Marshall Falk. Kevin Falk is from Carrincou. Marshall Falk is from New Orleans. Uh, Marshall Falk played at San Diego State, but also Marshall Falk was more of a high profile NFL player. I think if you're going with the celebrity splash, then that would be that route. But in terms of HBCU guy, even though some people they're not high on guys that went to Grambling, Felton Huggins is doing an excellent job at Kentucky State. He has recruited Louisiana well. He recruited, a guy from my former high school. He recruited a guy from Ascension Catholic. So he recruited my local area, River Parish region, the I-10 corridor, all that spots that Pete Richardson used to really hit to really get great talent. He done hit all of them spots. That's why Kentucky State is such a good team. So honestly, I talk about Joe Taylor. I think either Joe Taylor or Felton Huggins will probably be, in my mind, probably the top two perfect candidates for Southern. But at the end of the day, I think that's what you really want, you know. And that's part of the reason why they really hired, Terrence Graves, because he was once, a Southern lab coach and this, that, and the third, and they knew he was going to recruit locally, which he did. But recruiting locally from like Scotlandville High, a school that's been a traditional power in the area, so on and so forth. You got to pick the right guys from these schools. You know what I'm saying? You got to get dogs.
And you know
And
they cousins, right?
who?
Marshall and Kevin Falk.
Oh, see, I didn't know that.
Yeah, they cousins.
Well, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, to me, ain't no real guarantee if you hire one of them that the other one gonna get the other one
Yeah,
on
I
the
just
staff.
looked it up, man. Kevin is the running back coach for the New York Giants, so I'm not sure you want to cut pay. I'm not sure that's gonna happen. So, but that's my dream coach for y'all.
Well, like I said, I'm gonna be honest with you. I think either. I mean, I think the celebrity coach is cool, but I kind of want more of a program builder. Like I say, my top guys are Joe Taylor, Felton Huggins, and then I'll say Marshall Falk.
I like Marshall Falk for y'all though.
Yeah, but I mean, but I'm not gonna lie. But if you're gonna hire a celebrity guy, you got to have the next guy that's kind of like the heir apparent, the way TC Taylor was for Deion Sanders, because we saw how once Willie Simmons left, how James Colsey, he really didn't keep the ship afloat once Willie Simmons left and moved on to greener pastures. So you got to have the next right guy in place if you're gonna hire a celebrity coach. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man, I agree. T.C. Taylor is a good example of what you talking about. Yes, sir.
No, I'm not gonna lie. Another thing too that you want to point out. A few people have told me this too. They was like, hey, they would poach one of the better coaches from some of the HBCU schools, whether we talking about Trey Oliver from North Carolina Central, Chennis Berry from South Carolina State, Tremaine Gray from Prairie View, or even TC Taylor from Jackson State. I'm like, bro, I don't think you're gonna get Trey Oliver from North Carolina Central. He went there. Chennis Berry went to South Carolina State. TC Taylor went to Jackson State. Those guys went to those respective schools. I think your best bet would be try to get Tremaine Jackson from Prairie View if you decide to go that route. My issue with that is you see how that went when you took Eric Dooley from Prairie View, and I don't like the idea of poaching a coach from one of the coaches in your conference. Some people say business is business, but I feel like that's kind of grimy business in my personal opinion. I feel like they got enough good coaches out there for you to without you having to steal a coach from your rival school in conference. I don't like that. I don't
Yeah,
rock with that.
I agree, man, and I feel like you guys are not your school is not a career delayer for coaches. That's what I call schools where they need more time to develop, like Mississippi Valley or Arkansas Pine Bluff. Um, like they did it with Kendrick Wade. Kendrick Wade over there in Memphis. And you see how good the Memphis Tigers are. He's the wide receiver coach. Um, no, he's an offensive analyst. Excuse me. Uh, and the Memphis Tigers had one a very damn good season. So Kendrick Wade was a good coach. Like I said, they didn't give him enough time.
And that's another thing you bring up too. Southern University fan base is impatient. Really, LSU and Southern, like LSU expects to win the national championship every year. Southern fans expect to win the SWAC championship every year and go to Celebration Bowl every year. And it's like, bro, you got to first of all, you got to hire a good head coach. You just can't assume it's Southern. You could throw anybody in there and it's gonna happen. Realistically, if you Southern and you don't get this next hire right a head coach, you could turn into USC or Nebraska real easy because, like Jay Good was saying, this conversation the three of us had behind the scenes.
Hmm.
Like those were elite level programs at one point, and then you got a bad coach and then a bad coach, and the next thing you know, guess what? Your program is irrelevant. So Southern really needs to get this right, but not only that, but
Yeah, you
the,
don't want to
the
become what I call a career delayer school
yeah,
because
but
y'all
no,
not that yet. Y'all just having a historically bad year. Go ahead.
but the issue I'm saying with that is Terrence Graves didn't even get two full years. Eric Dooley didn't even get two full years. See, they're saying, hey, P. Richardson won the SWAC championship his first year. I don't think you can have that kind of expectations for the next head coach. Even though if he good enough, like maybe if you get a guy like Felton Huggins, he might be to turn that around
Hmm.
in 1 year, but that shouldn't be the expectation. And that's, I think, the issue with a lot of Jaguar Nation. They saw, well, hey, Tremaine Jackson, he doing good this first year. P. Richardson won the SWAC championship his first year at Southern. That cannot be the expectation every year. You know what I'm saying? You got to give this guy time to bring in his players to implement his system, bring in his coaching staff. You got to give him time. You just can't expect, all right, hey, if he a good enough coach, he should turn this whole thing around in 1 year. Now, hey, you can't be a microwave fan base. You got to be, willing to sit and wait for that person to cook this meal fully through and then
Facts.
eat, as opposed to, hey, we're gonna go run a McDonald's or Popeyes or whatever and get it. No, we got to be patient.
Oh, and that's my criticism with Dion. Dion he knows talent. He need to stop going into that portal so much. He can still go into the portal, but like for your offensive line, D line, you need to sit your even if you don't feel like going to the houses, you need to sit your ass down. You might need to get rid of some of your
Coaching
people on the
staff.
recruiting coaching staff or
Yeah.
recruiting team, and then start over from scratch and sit your ass down and look at the talent that you need for offensive line and defensive line.
Yeah, and I mean, I think the transfer portal has made a lot of coaches lazy. All of the guys that we thought were struggling in SWAC this year, like Cedric Thomas and James Colsey, Terrence Graves, and I think Dion is kind of fall victim to that same situation where, hey, you don't want groom and develop players, you just want plug and play, and that don't always work. It don't
No,
work for a
don't.
lot of coaches.
And you know how I know what I'm saying is true? Look what how he pulled out the freshman Juju Lewis. The freshman is playing better than any of the sophomores and juniors and seniors he got in that quarterback room. So a lot. Come on, man.
Yeah, big facts.
But and in addition to that, he got two freshmen on that D line that's been balling out. So I digress. But anyway, um, let's go into what the game you were talking about. That's basically the game of the week.
Uh, of course, we talked about game of the week in terms of MEAC, just HBCU football in general, South Carolina State and North Carolina Central. Who do you have winning this game? Well, you to
I
me,
gotta
you seem
think, man.
you
I'm s-
pondering. I'm not even gonna ponder it that long. I'm going with North Carolina Central for the win.
mm, that easy, huh?
For me, it is.
I
Come on, bro. We
think
we, we know
I
you gonna hold. We know you're gonna pick South Carolina State. Let's just get it out the mud, bro. Come on, bro.
no, because Chris Mosley, Chris Mosley is a dog at running back. Um, I think can I on the cool, man. I think South Carolina State gonna edge it out.
Yeah, see, it kind of aligns with our picks at the beginning of the year. I picked North Carolina Central to win the MEAC. You pick South Carolina State. Delaware State is really the team to beat right now, but we're gonna see how everything gonna play out.
Yeah, we gonna see, and the reason why, we talk about another program builder, right? Um,
Well, actually, you got two. We got three program builders when you consider, even though this is Deshaun Jackson's, first stint as a head coach, he's doing well. But Trey Oliver and Chennis Berry, both former Southern University assistant coaches, they both went to these respective programs. Both of these guys are program builders.
yes, they are. Yes, they are, man. And they, when Chennisberry was at Benedict, he built. That's why Benedict is competitive. They wasn't as competitive as they were before he left. Before he left, but that's why they're competitive in the SIAC now. They're no longer doormats
Yeah,
because of Dennis Cherry.
Chennis Berry.
Chennisberry, excuse me.
Yeah,
Chennisberry. So I think he's gonna have them boys coached up to play, bro.
yeah.
And don't get it twisted. If North Carolina Central edges this out, I would not be surprised. But I just got a funny feeling South Carolina State got enough to get past the Eagles this time. That's just my opinion. Now
Yeah.
let's go ahead and talk about
The topic
what
of the
the
show,
topic of the show.
main topic of the show, anyway.
The main topic of the show. The fight between Grambling and Bethune-Cookman. Coach, what the hell happened?
Well, bro, you know, first let me talk about what happened. It was more of a situation uh, where Bethune Cookman went to the locker room. Grambling is the home team. They're the host team, and Bethune left two of their players, and the two players were, kind of coming by themselves. And this is kind of Mickey Joseph's perspective. He said, first of all, he felt like as a team, Bethune Cookman should not have left the two players there. And I'm not gonna lie, this is one thing I used to do as a head coach because I'm not gonna lie, I done heard stories of, players, going to the bathroom or whatever, to the restroom in the stadium or whatever,
Hmm.
and players from the opposing team jumping them, things of that nature. So even like as a junior high, middle school head coach, I always said, hey, if y'all got to go to the bathroom and the whole team not coming at the same time, hey, at least 10 or 15 of y'all, maybe half the team, go use the bathroom. But, the last few teams I had, we were real thin. So we couldn't afford to divide the team in half. We would all go together. But I'm like, hey, bro, you got to use the bathroom that bad, and You're not going by yourself. So I don't know what the situation was, but they had 2 players left, and essentially the whole team left them 2 players. So Grambling, the whole team, they're trying to. Now this is Grambling head coach Mickey Joseph, his point of view, his perspective, right? So he said basically, they trying to like be patient and let them pass or whatever, but evidently from his point of view, his perspective, the 2 Bethune-Cookman players, they kind of taking their own sweet time, and to a certain degree, they kind of being disrespectful, right? So the 2 Bethune-Cookman players, they got to join with the Grambling players. They get to talking trash and they get to talking on the side of their neck. It's the issue though. Grambling has their whole team. It's only the 2 of you. It's like, bro, how stupid can you be? You know what I'm saying? You can't pick a fight. Hey, if it's 2 of us and it's 85 of them, it's like, come on, man. Like, don't be stupid, bro. So essentially, the 2 Bethune-Cookman players got to talking reckless, and they put, they pushed, talk trash to a couple Grambling players. Grambling players retaliated, and it went up from there. And then, of course, Bethune-Cookman players came back out, trying to come to the rescue to their 2 teammates. And essentially what happened is they just got to scuffing, and,
Right.
I'm sure everybody saw it on social media. My issue with these type of situations, because I'm going to get to talking about this buck dancing, bootlicking clown, this minstrel show, that's a former NFL MVP. I'm gonna get the cooking on him in a minute. But my issue with these type of situations, I talk about this all the time on our show here on HBCU Fanatics, even going back to the early days of the Southern Baller Show when we first was getting the Southern Baller Show off the ground and trying to build our brand.
Right.
Essentially the reason I hate these type of scenarios because see, when a black person, when a white person does something wrong, you look at that white person individually as an individual, right? However, when a black person does something wrong, you don't look at that one black person individually. You look at the entire black race. So if you got one clown that does something wrong, essentially is a reflection on the entire black race, which is, to me, is a ridiculous double standard and is extremely unfair. And my issue is with these type of situations, I talk about it all the time, when 2 HBCUs get in a fight, basically, the white power structure, white supremacy has taught us that, hey, like all of these ninjas don't know how to act. Is a reflection on all HBCUs, is a reflection on all black people. And that's my issue, because I talk about this all the time. When Deion Sanders' lone appearance to A.W. Mumford Stadium with Jackson State, essentially Southern led the game like all the way up until like the 1 minute and 3-second mark or 1:21 or whatever. Like basically, Jackson State took the lead with like a minute and some change left in the game. And then Glenn above McDaniel, he tried to lead Southern down the field, but he ended up throwing an interception on like the +20, and the game was over. And after the game, Jackson State tried to plant the JSU flag at the middle of A.W. Mumford Stadium, P. Richardson Field. Those Jackson State, that was the first group of Jackson State seniors that had beat Southern in like 7 years or whatever it was. And they tried to plant that flag in those Southern University seniors. It was a handful of defensive linemen. They weren't going for it. And they got the scuffing that night. And I'm like, oh, man. Like, literally, that game was the best game I saw all season long. Like, out of all the SWAC games I saw, that was the best game I saw in the entire season. And the thing I hated about it, I'm like, this was such a great game that all people are going to talk about is the fight after the game. And I'm not going to lie.
That's how it usually works.
I thought they was going to blow it out of proportion. But they didn't blow it out of proportion as much as I thought they would. And Deion Sanders, he took responsibility for it. He was like, basically, it was like kind of like I'm paraphrasing what he's saying, but it was a classic act. And he was like, it's my fault as the head coach. Like, I shouldn't have allowed that. That kind of de-escalated the social media, like, outcry of it. All right. So with this situation here, a lot of people saying it look extremely bad. You got a lot of people posting on social media, and it just ended up being a hot topic. You know what I'm saying? And so much so a hot topic that former NFL quarterback Cam Newton, he decided he won't chime in on it. You know what I'm saying? And my issue with this is, in fact, for y'all individuals that know me in real life, and y'all, especially my loyal day one subscribers, y'all know how I'm gonna react to this situation. I'm a proud graduate of Southern University, and I stand 10 toes down on this. I don't just represent Southern University. I represent all HBCUs. That includes
Yes, sir.
Jackson State. That includes Grambling. That includes Bethune-Cookman, FAMU, whoever. And don't get me wrong, when we play on Saturdays, I want my Jaguars to kick y'all behind and then love on y'all after. You know what I'm saying? So if a HBCU playing against a PWI, I'm gonna always root for the HBCU,
Yes,
and
sir.
I'm unapologetic about that, and I stand on that. You know what I'm saying? My issue is when you got people from outside the HBCU space that decide they want to put their mouth on HBCUs, and Cam Newton is no different. See, my issue with Cam Newton is he one of these type of ninjas. First of all, shout out to Black Fight Fan TV. He always used to say, "Hey, these banana eating monkeys." And get ready to clip this, bro. You ready? Because I'm finna go in. Man,
All
this boy
right.
Cam Newton, you buck dancing, boot licking, banana eating monkey. I despise you. Cause see, he got there and he said, "Hey, he despised this type of behavior," and he basically making it seem like, "Hey, these major networks, they got the bag, Fox and ESPN and Netflix and this, that, and the third." Well, guess what? PWIs fight all the time. In fact, recently I just happened to be looking on YouTube. Guess what I saw? I saw Cam Newton and Josh Norman have a fight during training camp. Not only
Oh,
that, I
would you
not
look
only
at that?
saw that, I not only saw that, but guess what? I saw Cam Newton at a 7-on-7 invitation only 7-on-7 deal.
Fighting
I
off two
saw
dudes,
I,
coaches.
I saw him fighting, and like 6 or 7 people tried to jump him. In addition to that, guess what? Like a month ago, ESPN First Take was at the Alabama A&M game. And guess what? I saw Cam Newton haul off and slap a mascot. So since when Cam Newton is the moral police, I can't stand these buck dancing, boot licking, banana eating monkeys. And that's my thing with these type of individuals. When they get, to me, I don't understand, like, where's the ceiling? Like, once you got a certain amount of fame, a certain amount of fortune, a certain amount of notoriety, you figure, like, hey, I don't need to be on a super big platform. I don't need to be on ESPN. I don't need to be on Fox. I don't need to pander to the white power structure. And I don't need to make these white folks feel at home. And I don't need to cast down other black people, basically calling them buffoons and showing they behind or whatever. Bro, you people like you, I despise you. You make me sick. You banana eating, boot licking, buck dancing monkey. You make me sick. And truthfully speaking, I can't stand these type of ninjas, even like Stephen A. Smith. It's like you get on these platforms, you got to pander to these people. Like, why? Because guess what? Recently, we just going to pretend. I'm going to use real life scenarios, right? Michigan and Ohio State fight. Guess what? It ain't the worst thing in the world because guess what? Bro, I've been coaching for years. I played ball literally on every level. Either the teams I done played on either fought or almost got in a fight.
Mm-hmm.
And guess what? It's the end of it. But when it's black teams doing it, it's a double standard. You make it seem like it's the worst thing in the world. When PWIs, because guess what? The same scenario I talked about Jackson State and Southern, guess what? Michigan, after they beat Ohio State, they tried to plant that flag at the middle of the horseshoe. And guess what? Ohio State wasn't having it. They had a skirmish. Guess what? It passed through one news cycle, and that was the end of it. Southern and Prairie View. At the time, 100% of Southern band members were boys. 2/3, even though Prairie View band was twice as big as Southern's band, 2/3 of their band was girls. And guess what? They fought their tail off. The thing that pissed me off is the 2 local news channels here in Baton Rouge, WAFB, which is channel 2, and WBRZ, which is channel 9. They showed that damn fight between Southern Band and Prairie View Band for like 15 years. LSU, I think it was the University of Florida or Tennessee University, either one. Those two football teams, they fought. And guess what? They fought their ass off. WARB and WBRZ, even the Advocate, which is the local newspaper here in Baton Rouge. All of these white power structures, right? They, when it came to the fight, it passed through one news cycle and you never saw the shit again. The Advocate, they had like a little small clip in the paper, and that was the end of it. Whereas Southern and Prairie View fight, they got a big ass clip. And that's the thing that pissed me off. It's always this double standard when you're dealing with HBCUs and PWIs. Now, if LSU and Auburn fought, do you think Cam Newton would give Auburn and LSU the same kind of energy that he gave Grambling and Bethune-Cookman? That's why I say, bro, you didn't go to HBCU, so you should keep your damn mouth off of HBCUs. People like him, like I said, I despise him. He make me sick. Like Black Fight fan would always say, people like him are buck dancing, boot licking, banana eating monkeys. And the thing about it is, guess what? It's gonna come a time. First of all, you ain't like this squeaky clean, holier than our individual yourself. Because guess what? When you was in college, last time I checked, you went to the University of Florida. You was Tim Tebow's backup. You know why you left Florida? Because allegedly you stole a computer. And that's the word on the curve, right? You transferred to a community college, and then you came to Auburn. And word on the curve was, basically his dad got like 100 bands for him to come to Auburn. That's why he chose Auburn over some of the other schools that really wanted him, right? Then you get to the NFL, and guess what? Everything he's saying about Grambling and Bethune-Cookman, basically, I could see the same thing but you. You're acting like you're Superman. You're acting like you're coming out the telephone booth, and you're going from Clark Kent to Superman, and you're ripping open your Superman shirt, this, that, and the third. In addition to that, you got a training camp fight with Josh Norman. And basically he's trying to act like he the moral police. But even if we just talking about morals, evidently you got like multiple kids with multiple different baby mamas. So I'm like, I don't understand like how he get on his platform and try to act like he's holier than thou. Like, bro,
Cause it's gonna be honest, cause Negroes forget, man. Like what irritates me about Cam Newton, brother was supporting Cam Newton. Like,
even with the little 7-on-7 situation,
even when not even the 707, like, going like you said about the stealing the computer. You know what I mean? Which I believe he said on the podcast wasn't really true or something like that. You'll have to correct me. But and people calling him Scam Newton, and people, that look like him were defending him, man, and still how
probably like a little bitch after they lost the Super Bowl because he played like a scrub.
Yeah, and even how Carolina treated him, or not putting the correct talent around him, like wide receivers or whatever. People was supporting him, man. Black folk. But for him to turn around and talk shit about HBCUs for
and
having
go to
fight.
HBCU, nigga.
Come on, man. Come on. And then I don't disrespect for the young ladies that were in the video. Whoever
uploaded it.
They were. I heard something bothered me. They were saying they were saying as well. They were saying, well, that's why y'all in the SWAC. What? Shout out to the brother Scotty from Oxford. He had receipts. He had a video where a lot of PWI schools
fighting Michigan and Ohio State, like I just said.
So why would you say that about? And maybe the sisters were ignorant to that fact. They don't know the history about football. They just go to that HBCU, but don't down the HBCUs like
and
that.
Both of them in the SWAC anyway.
Yeah,
Bethune-Cookman is no longer in the MEAC, but like you said, not educated though. And
Yeah,
I
they
mean,
you trying to say because they fighting because they ghettos. Basically, I'm ad libbing what they saying. They trying to say because the ghetto schools, um, all black people, a lot of black people go to these schools. They ghettos, so that's why they in the SWAC. No, no,
and,
baby.
and this is my question for Cam Newton, and I mean this with all due disrespect. You buck dancing, boot licking, banana eating monkey. If Auburn got in a fight with another SEC school, would you give them that same kind of energy?
No,
Tell me that. I know
no.
you wouldn't. Because guess what? Like I said, I don't understand about these black people. Dude, you got fame, fortune, notoriety. You got your own platform. Why do people like you need to pander and go to ESPN and get on these big platforms and pander to these people, to those folks, and down other black people? I'm not gonna lie, bro. Really, with all due disrespect, he kind of he really kind of remind me of a house Negro. You know what I'm saying? It's like, hey, bro, hey, I'm talking down on all y'all field Negroes. Hey, bro, shut up, bro. You make me sick, bro. Like I say, bro, I done lost all respect for this dude. I used to rock with him at one point. Like, nah, bro, I have zero respect for him. And like I said, you didn't go to HBCU. Keep your mouth off of HBCUs. Talk about Auburn. Because guess what? It's gonna come a day where you're gonna have some SEC schools getting a fight. You're gonna have some PWI, Power Four schools getting a fight. I want to see you have that same energy and the same disrespect that you had towards Grambling and Bethune-Cookman. I want to see it. And I'm just gonna let you know this ain't even the end of it on my end, because come Saturday morning, you could best believe 6 o'clock that morning. Just the way 6 o'clock this morning I had a video drop. Oh, something gonna drop for this because this boy is disgusting. Hey, I'm coming with all the smoke. So the same energy I just gave him, hey, it's coming again. I can't stand this dude for this, bro. Make me sick.
Yeah, all the times
Buck
that
dancing, bootlicking. He a minstrel show. Cam Newton is a
I
minstrel
can
show
raise
and
I
a
can
clown.
raise you one all the time when Baker was at Oklahoma, Baker Mayfield. He planted the flag on Ohio State's middle of the field, and then in Kansas game when he tried to shake their hand, the Kansas players ain't want to shake his hand, so he was grabbing his crotch and talking shit through the whole game, and nobody. I had some people say try to say inappropriate, but not to the point where you, look how Oklahoma, they should be ashamed of themselves to having somebody like play. No, they just deem it as when it was somebody from another color or PWI, they just deem it as kids just they're competitive and they
Yeah,
just
they're young and they make mistakes, and
yeah
give them all this grace. Man, we see the double standard all the time. Because guess what? When Tyson Fury got knocked out by Deontay Wilder, which he did, he got knocked out. Oh, what heart, what courage! Like, this is a Rocky movie. Oh my goodness! But guess what? When Ryan, like you said on the Southern Baller Show, when Ryan Garcia was full of that juice and he was gassed to the gills, Devin Haney showed great heart and great courage. But guess what? Black fighters don't get to have the Rocky movie moment. They basically
I
make
think
it seem,
JB actually said that, but yeah,
yeah,
good point.
yeah, yeah. And so why is Devin the Dream Haney not giving praise for for getting up and being knocked down multiple times by this juice monkey? And then all actuality, he didn't even win that fight. I scored it a draw. But at the end of the day, guess what? Hey, we know it's a double standard. It's double standards all across the board. Whenever another SEC school in Auburn or some SEC schools or some PWIs, some major PWIs get in a fight, I want to see Cam Newton have the same energy. Because let's be honest, truthfully speaking, Scotty pointed this out, and shout out to him. He slapped a black mascot for HBCU on ESPN First Take. Do you think he would have had this? People would have gave him the same energy. ESPN would have fired him the next day, that same day, had he slapped the mascot for Ohio State or one of these major colleges. So at the end of the day, bro, this dude, he's a clown. He's a minstrel show, and I don't have no respect for
Coach,
dude.
coach, somebody got a question, so or yeah, a comment actually. So he said, "Hey, cut Cam some slack because at least he's trying and ask yourself this: how many other elite caliber athletes or celebrities are trying to shine a bigger light on HBCUs and develop a relationship? But that's not the issue. The issue is the double standard of
The
black
double standard.
schools
In fact, the
getting
person
into a
that
fight.
asked this, the person that asked this in the comment section. All right. All
Uh-huh.
right. Let me play devil's advocate to that comment you just made. So if Auburn and LSU got in a fight, all these derogatory things that he said about Mickey Joseph and that he said about Grambling and Bethune-Cookman and disrespect being met with disrespect and how basically y'all some baboons showing y'all behinds, that type of thing. Do you think he would have gave Auburn and LSU the same energy, the same disrespect, and said all of those same derogatory things about LSU and Auburn had they been in the exact same scenario, in the exact same situation that Bethune-Cookman and Grambling was in? Answer that question for me.
And he asks again, just ask yourself this question and then ask yourself, what would the backlash of calling him out of whose uniform, will it help HBCU or will it create a bigger hole in relationships?
He is
What
not.
what what
He's not helping
relationship?
HBCUs.
What
He's
what
not.
relationship are you referring to, man? What
He,
what if we don't? They don't need that type of relationship.
look, if you have a relationship, you and I have a relationship where when something goes wrong, all you're gonna do is throw me under the bus. I don't need that type of relationship. We could
Fact.
sever those ties and we could sever that relationship immediately. I have not seen any positive light that he shined on HBCUs. He didn't do nothing for HBCU because guess what? He was like, hey, Bethune-Cookman and Grambling. Just imagine
If
had
you
this been on Netflix, had this been on Fox.
hold on, if you want to talk about a relationship, even though a lot of people don't like how he left, Dion shed light on HBCUs. Because look at them now. They're on TV and everything. So even though he left Jackson State, he still left where, he it's impressionable.
Cam Newton didn't do nothing good for no HBCUs. I don't care what nobody say. And guess what? The minute things went sideways, the minute there was an incident, you know,
Oh,
it's
yes, and he said yes and why, because he called out lack of quarterback play of Auburn. Cam don't just pick on HBCU. He just uninformed on what fully transpired. So if he uninformed, he need to shut the fuck up then.
that's pretty much it. He need to keep his damn mouth shut. Because guess what? I'll be willing to bet dollars to donuts. I'll be willing to put my bottom dollar on if LSU and Auburn had the exact same scenario that Bethune-Cookman and Grambling had. He wouldn't have gave them that same energy. He wouldn't have gave them that same disrespect. I don't care what nobody say. I'm not even a gambling individual, and I'll be willing to bet dollars to donuts on that. So the way he came at Grambling and Bethune-Cookman was extremely disrespectful in my personal opinion, and that's the reason why is graduates of HBCUs, we try to keep non-HBCU members out of our space because as soon as stuff goes sideways, the way it just did this past weekend, you have individuals like Cam Newton that went to a Power 5 PWI, try to throw them under the bus like he did. And in terms of that whole, at the beginning of the season, him trying to get a bag to cover HBCU football, man, that was a money grab for him. He didn't try to do nothing to spotlight, shine a spotlight on HBCUs. He tried to do that for his own personal gain. So that's my issue with individuals like him. When it's beneficial to him, guess what? He gonna turn his back on you. He gonna throw you under the bus. Like if I'd have a relationship with somebody like that, nah, I'd rather be on my own.
I wish there was a link or a number number to call in. Yeah, I hear you. He could call them out because he's not biased, just uninformed. If there was a fight that made the news, he would talk about it.
Man, dude, they got fights that happen between two PWI schools. Like I said, go watch the video of that off script that Scotty had. And guess what? He talked about big platforms. Ohio State and Michigan played on Fox. So come on, bro. Like, it's a double
Hold,
standard.
hold on. Keep it up, fam. Do you even know who Scotty is? Before you put anything in, I want you to answer me this. Do you know who Scotty is? Do you know who Off Script is? Have you watched this video?
Watch the whole video in its
Did you
entirety.
watch the whole video?
The whole video in its entirety.
So what are you defending when it comes to Cam Newton? We're not saying this dude is not was uh the outstanding athlete he was.
He was an
And I said,
outstanding athlete.
and I
He
know,
won
hold
the
on,
Heisman
hold on, hold on,
Trophy.
hold on.
He
Let me
led
finish.
Auburn to a
And
national championship.
and on
He was
top
the
of that,
NFL MVP. But that don't mean he ain't a hypocrite, a high
hold
level
on.
hypocrite.
Hold on. And then on top of that, Carolina did him wrong with not putting the best talent around him while he was there. But at the same time,
None of that don't have nothing to do with Bethune-Cookman and Grambling situation. And he
exactly.
spoke against them disparagingly. And like I say, I'll be willing to bet dollars to donuts. I'll be willing to bet my bottom dollar that if the same situation came about between Auburn and LSU or some other SEC school, guess what? He wouldn't give them the same energy. Because you know why? I see it too often. I see it from individuals like Sean Porter. I see it from individuals like Timothy Bradley. This the LDBC over here, and guess what? We see it all day, every day. So we see the double standard. I live in America. You can't tell me.
Yeah, man. Even though we like some of these athletes and these celebrities, we gotta call them on their bull crap too, man. With
Look,
love.
hey, I'm a keep it above. Oh no, not with me. I'm
well,
saying
not with you.
I'm
Yeah,
saying
you.
I'm saying it with all due disrespect. I'm saying it with the utmost disrespect. Because guess what? Just because you won a Heisman Trophy and led Auburn to the national championship, just because you was the NFL MVP and you led a bad Carolina Panthers team to a Super Bowl, that don't mean that everything all good when it comes to this particular situation. Because as far as I'm concerned, hey, I view him as a clown. I view him as a minstrel show. At first, I'm like, all right, maybe he's a little bit crooked when it comes to the way he dressed. Now I just see him as a clown.
I'm gonna read this and I'm gonna move on. I'm done with it. He said, I'm saying he was uninformed, but he doesn't have a bias because it's HBCU. It's made the news and he talked about it. If
like
it was anywhere else, he would do the same because he calls out the athletes at PWIs. He just can be a hypocrite and say that others should do but what he won't do himself. Yeah, that's what we pretty much saying.
but no,
But you
but
you're trying to say give him some bias, but he's done a lot of sideways stuff keeping it up, fam. I understand what you're saying, but this was like strike 3 for me, man.
it was strike 10 for me. And I mean, I can't give him grace because guess what? It literally, if you watch him, because I was subscribed to his channel. I don't watch his content in length. And I'm not gonna lie, as far as I'm concerned, he's extremely hypocritical. He's a high level hypocrite. And if you saw Scotty's response, first of all, I saw his content in terms of him disparaging Grambling and Bethune-Cookman. I saw that in its entirety, in length. And in addition to that, I saw Scotty's response on our script in length, the entirety of it. And as far as I'm concerned, based on the way he living his life, he's extremely hypocritical. He's in no position to cast stones. He's throwing stones, in my personal opinion. He's living in a glass house. So you're not in this moral position, this moral high ground talking about, hey, look the way they carry on, look the way they fight. And guess what? If you saw Scotty's response, everything Cam Newton is talking about Grambling and Bethune-Cookman about, he's done that. And not even just in his NFL career, after the fact. Whether we talk about the 7-on-7 situation where the guys jumped him and he fighting them, this, that, and the third, or whether we talk about the training camp fight between him and Josh Norman. So as far as I'm concerned, man, he is extremely hypocritical. And I think he's a clown, and I think he's a minstrel show. And like I say, on my channel, I'm definitely going to dig deep into him, and I'm going to do it with the utmost disrespect. Because as far as I'm concerned, he's a hypocrite.
Yeah, well, I hear you, man. I've been disappointed in Cam Newton from some of the stuff.
Disappointing is an understatement in my
Yeah,
personal opinion.
yeah, but we got to get it together, man. But anyway, but keeping it up, fam. Thank you for sharing your opinion, man. We appreciate it. Um, he said he said it's hard to implant a seed in someone's head, but I just don't follow the crowd. I listen to everyone's taking scene that he wasn't fully aware of everything, but just throw him under the buses. Throw him under the buses. Okay.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, that's what he did to Grambling Bethune-Cookman. He just threw them under the bus. He was extremely critical of Mickey Joseph. And guess what? If you watch the link when it comes to off script and Scotty, everything that Cam Newton said, he rebutted it point by point. And in addition to that, he showed the double standard of that is Cam Newton in terms of from the PWI side of things. And like I said, it's easy to sit back and say what he would or wouldn't do after the fact and play Monday morning quarterback. But based on the fact that he's on the platform, and that's the thing, that's the issue I have with a lot of these professional athletes. If you build your own platform, you can say whatever you want. But if you're getting paid by ESPN and on First Take and this, that, and the third, basically you're gonna bend the knee and you're gonna be a attack dog for the major corporation. And essentially that's what it was. He came after Bethune-Cookman and Grambling. And like I said, had it been Michigan and Ohio State, had it been Auburn and LSU, he wouldn't have given him the same type of energy. I know. Because like I said, I've seen it from people like Andre Ward, Timothy Bradley, Sean Porter, and whether you want to go in the NFL, the NBA, you want to go to ESPN, all these different platforms, these major platforms, you see black people bow the knee. Guess what? Kyrie Irving, he don't even make a tweet. He just post a link to a movie. But guess what? I mean, you got racist individuals doing stuff.
I hear you keeping up, fam. I hear you, man.
Doing like racist stuff all the time. What are we talking about? With the kicker name or the linebacker Chad Brown or this guy, that guy. Come on, man. Like, it's a double standard. Like, literally, we talk about Vince McMahon and Diddy. We talked about Josh Giddey, and we talked about Von Miller. Like, literally, they were talking about on First Take. They was talking about Josh Giddey. Well, we can't say anything about Josh Giddey because we don't have all the details and this, that, and the third. Literally, during the show, while they were live, news broke about Von Miller, and they literally had a completely different energy. They didn't have all the details for that, but guess what? It didn't stop them from throwing Von Miller under the bus. Yeah, he domestic violence. He beat up his pregnant girlfriend. And woo. I'm like, hold up. Josh Giddey was messing with an underage girl. Literally 5 minutes ago, y'all had a different type of energy for him. So this is even from the black people. And guess what? Stephen A. Smith graduated from an HBCU. So that's the double standard we talking about, man.
Yeah, man. But this is a space for it to talk about it, even if everybody don't have to agree, man. But I hear you keeping up, fam. But coach, man, we've been on here cooking, man. Like I said, I cannot wait for the CIAA championship game this Saturday. Virginia Union versus Johnson C. Smith I think it's gonna be a good one. But coach, let everybody know where they can beat you and see you.
You can catch me at Coach 67 Sports TV on all social media platforms. Tomorrow night, I'm doing radio commentary for the Louisiana All-American Sports Network. Bruley High School is hosting a playoff game on my YouTube channel. Is where you can primarily find me. Saturday morning, I cooked a little bit tonight, but I'm gonna go all the way in on Cam Newton on my platform on Saturday morning. The video is gonna drop live, so check that out. Of course, Saturday afternoon is senior afternoon at A.W. Mumford Stadium, Peterson Field. As Southern University is gonna host Texas Southern. They're probably gonna lose, and they're probably gonna lose. And I'm gonna do a post game reaction on Saturday night in regards to that. So if you haven't done so already, come over to my YouTube channel, Cool 67 Sports TV. I'm gonna go live Saturday night. I'm gonna drop a video Saturday morning, and I appreciate everybody that's been rocking with me since day one. Everybody supporting these BCU Fanatics, and come on over on my channel and rock with me. Y'all have a blessed and phenomenal evening. Peace and blessings, you dig? And salute to the awesome and amazing LDBC.
Yes, sir. And y'all make sure y'all come by Sunday, every Sunday, 3:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. We're gonna uh talk about some more football, but not HBCU. Talk about Power Five, NFL, college
Top 25
football,
college football.
top 25, yes, sir. On the Southern Baller Show, even a little bit of boxing. Um, fuck UFC. Yeah, but we're gonna talk about other sports. Uh, but and then of course you can always catch us every Thursday, God willing, um, around 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. HBCU Fanatics, man. Please make sure you share, hit my like button, and subscribe, man. We're trying to at least reach 500 before the year's out. If not, it's all good. Keep supporting. I appreciate everyone who came by and share their opinion. But this was another installment of HBCU Fanatics. Y'all be blessed.
Peace and blessings.